Hi guys and welcome to the channel. This channel will produce videos in the lead up to the AFL Fantasy season, as well as look at my progression on so rare basketball and football. If you don't want to miss any content, then remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment with any picks you believe I can improve on, as there will be some controversial picks coming up. Now on to my team. Defenders. My D1 this year is going to be Nick Dacos, as he has shown last year that he could easily do a lot bigger. There will be some potentially, but I believe he can easily score 100, average 100, which would see his value increase and potentially stay at that D2, D3 role. My next pick is Hayden Young, in the same boat as Nick Dacos, is that he did average 87 last year, but I think with him taking a more senior role in the three of back, he could easily average 100 or so and be similar to Dacos in that D2, D3, D4 region. My next pick is Elliot Yeo, who's a guy that a lot of the fancy experts have been saying is an undervalued player. If he's with only playing 5 games, he's been given a discount 10%. And that average score, I believe, has injury games in it. Against St Kilda, 40%, that would be an injury, and Port would be another injury here. So that's only really 3 games. So even then, he would be averaging somewhere around that 80 or so, which would see his price rise and should be able to increase him up to a premium, like a D1 Stewart, around the buy rounds or that 7 to 10. My next pick is as a flyer. He is a guy that many will believe probably is a bad pick, but I think given he has a discount of 27% from that 83 scored in one of the later rounds, round 23 last year, so the last round last year, I think he could easily average 80 again, which would see him go up to 700k or so, which would be in line for another rookie downgrade, mid-price upgrade to a premium, and sit around that with Dacos, Young, and the premium I bring in for him around that D2, 3, 4 spot. My D5 spot is another risk, but I believe that he will be one of the biggest risers in the defense this year is Nick Caulfield at 379k. He's definitely a left field selection and a player of difference, but anything averaging over 60 or 70 for his price is a good pickup. Gets him up to around the 700k range and will be in line for another upgrade close to the buys. A D6 is a rookie in Ruben Jinby, as he's the biggest odds on to be a round 1 to bill it as, and even if he just averages in that 55 to 60 range, will allow him to get up to 500 to 600k, and he could play a similar role to that of Dacos last year. Yet I don't think he will live up to the standards of Dacos, but fantasy wise, if he averages 10 less than Dacos, then it'll be enough. Averaging in the 70s will get him up to that 600 or so k. On my bench for the defenders, I currently have Darcy Wilmot and I have Campbell Chesser, as I believe those two will be playing round 1 or have the best chance at the moment, but obviously that can change when round 1 teams are announced a couple of days out. Paddy Cripps is my number 1 option, as he generally Brownlow medalists don't have a good start to the year or a good year after a Brownlow medal. Paddy Cripps, if you look at what he did last year, he had a flying start, then got injured round 4, then came back again. And if you look at his fixtures this year, he has a pretty hard game in the Richmond and then Geelong, but then he has this nice run for 5 or so weeks, and in that time I don't intend on upgrading premium, so there I need to sort of start him out and maybe take a hit his first 2 games, but really take advantage of it from rounds 3 to 7. My next pick, along the similar lines to Paddy Cripps, is to get Kelly. He's currently. I was debating whether to get him or Cray, but Bont is a little bit cheaper, and I think average similar. If you look at his fixtures, he has obviously a pretty difficult start, but as we see here, he has uh, a lot of teams that I think he can score against, especially against Hawks, Giants, Carlton again. He will score, and then he has this nice run up into round 12, and then he is going to be just I think with the Dunkley moving into Brisbane's lineup, he will fill that hole along with McRae. My next pick is one that I'm not terribly confident on, but I can't let the majority of the comp. I believe he's 31% owned at the time, so I can't let the majority of the comp get him and him to do well and go back to his previous fantasy pig mode. So look here, this is Tom Mitchell here, 96, another down here. If he even goes back to his 2021 of 115, that's good enough. But if he goes back to his 127, 129, even a 105, 106, that would be good enough. I just don't rate him in the Collingwood midfield to go back to the 120s, but he could easily get a 5. Tom Green is, like many of these midfielders, it's looking for players that will gain more midfield time, and like Bont and Pelly with the Dunkley departures, I think Tom Green with the Taranto and Hopper departures will get more game time in the mids. He's a tackling beast and contestable beast. As looking at these stats, I think he could easily follow the Canelio route and start getting a lot of more +6s, which should see him go up in value, and his averages see it's a nice steady incline. The next one is a pretty common pick within the fantasy teams I have seen so far in the experts. It's Dom Sheed. If we look at his stats, he played 1 game, so he's got a massive discount on last year. If we look at his fantasy profile, 2022 will be that. 2021 he averaged 91, so even if he gets up to that 90 range, still be an increase. My next pick is another guy I was not 100% set on again, but it seems like he will, looking back further and more deeper into this player's profile, it seems like he's just too cheap for the output possible, especially with Mitchell leaving and Jager and Mira leaving. It seems like there'll be more of a role for him. And James, this is his stats from his 2019 season. If we get anything close to that, then that's good enough for him. Next we have Will Ashcroft. He's just that rookie from last year, similar to Nick Dacos. I don't know the exact position he play. I think he's more of that midfield, like tough, similar to a Tom Green type role, where he might not average that 100, but obviously maybe not even 80. If he gets to 60, 65, it's a rookie, getting him out for a mid price returning from injury or something like that. And that's all you're looking for from rookies. In my M8 spot, I have Phillips, as just what I hear from preseason shows that this guy should be odds on for a good year. He's shown in preseason that he's up for the best, up with the best in like LDU and stuff at Kangas, so I expect him to average probably in the 80s again. A lot of these low price guys just need to just average 80s just to get that cash generation going, as later in the year we can catch up those points when we have 22 premiums on the field. On the midfield bench, I needed to not put a full bench of 200 basement price players, so I decided to go Josh Sin, and I also went with Blake. There we go. Josh Sin, it seems like by Ken Hinkley's preseason words that he could play round one if he's available. He will play round one on a more wing role, which should see him average probably in the 50s or 60s, even for a young guy like him. And then Connor Blakely, new club, if I bring and onto the ruck line. In my R1 spot, I have Marshall. As he, there has been, he is one of the hottest topics in preseason with regards to the just key position players in the Saints, with him being the only available ruck with experience, means that he should play a more solo ruck. I expect the likes of Allison and Max Heath to fill in the backup roles for the injured Campbell. And in my two spot, I have Lloyd Meek. This is a very controversial one. I thought my thinking behind it is that Lloyd Meek wouldn't come into the Hawks team if he wasn't basically odds on to guarantee R1 spot. I think he will be the R1 player, and you'll have Ned Reeves as well, and they will probably. I expect Meek to probably play 60-65% of the ruck, and Reeves to play 30-35, just because Reeves can play that full forward role. We've seen what Lewis go down with an injury, although they expect him to be back by round one. And as I spoke about with the Saints, my R3 on the bench, Max Heath, I believe he will get game time. It is more of a I've gone for a guy. Not only is he a ruck forward, to me more flexibility, is that he also is odds on to get one game time, and even if he just averages above placement price, just getting some value. Forward one, really to explain here, it's going to be Dunks. There's his new team, better, probably similar role anyway, brought in there to help with Neil. My F2 is another. A lot of people have Toronto, but I've gone familiar. He, I think, will sort of similar to what I just. Tom Green, he will get more midfield time. We've seen under the new coach, so this is another new coach that he exploded here. So look at it here. So look at his match stats here. He did explode at the end of the season. My F3 is another guy that I think has shown that he has an ability to go to the next level. I think he could easily average 100 as he's more. As this would be the last year, in my opinion, that he gets mid forward status because he's turning into that pure midfielder. My F4 spot is another premium player in Darcy Cameron. Now this one could easily change to the likes of Gordon, as I like what he's progressing. Darcy Cameron without Mason Cox is the main ruck. Easily scores 100 each week. My F5 is another guy returning from injury, another player very undervalued in my opinion is Toby McLean. He should get midfield minutes, but even if he doesn't, 401k, that's 45 average, somewhere around there. So I expect him to average 80s or so, 75, 80. This is another rookie. As you can see here, I don't have many rookies. The field I've gone for more of a like underpriced and lower range premium players this year. But another rookie I believe that will play a lot of midfield minutes is Philippou. Even if he can just get to the 600 in the 60s and get up towards that 500k mark, good enough. And not, this is the bench players that I'm least certain will play is Luke Pedler, I believe, from comments from the Adelaide head coach. He should be around one. We'll just see, as you never know until they release names. And I have sort of gone with another St Kilda guy, as from what I've heard from Allison, he should be on for round one debut. We'll see. And then as my utility player, I've got Sixers. Just need Sas. Just need another guy at 200k. Hopefully that will be replaced by whoever debuts, and we'll just see. So this is my team at the moment. Before the scratch matches and the official preseason games. This, as you can tell, with so my bench, a lot of it will change, probably 20-30% of it. So, but remember to like and subscribe as more content will be coming out from me as I start my YouTube journey, including comparing my team to Team Vanilla, which I hope will come out Tuesday or Wednesday. And players I overlooked around the same time that this video was released next week.